Imagine a dog so fierce that it stops criminals in their tracks. These heroic hounds don't just protect, they make sure thieves regret ever stepping foot on their property. Anxious to see some epic moments of justice served? Join us as we unravel 20 thrilling instances in which thieves got owned by guard dogs. Group of 3. A burglar sneaks into a house, thinking he's about to score big. But instead of silent job, he's met by a guard dog, eyes locked on him. He tries to hush the dog and make his way quietly, but the situation quickly spirals. The guard dog starts barking, alerting another dog from deeper into the house, and before the intruder can react, he's on the ground. The larger dog lunges, pinning him down while barking fiercely. Just when the burglar thinks he might have a chance to escape, a third, smaller dog joins the action. Though small, this little dog's sharp barks add to the chaos. It roots for its bigger canine companions, bolstering their efforts. The intruder fights to escape, pushing the dogs away and fumbling with his clothes, but they refuse to back down. Each step he takes is met with relentless pursuit. It's a battle he can't win as the dogs, working as a team, keep him cornered. The once silent break-in attempt turns into a high-action chase, and in the end, it's clear that these dogs are the real protectors of the house. Hobby steps in. With a remarkable act of heroism, a brave dog from France captured millions' hearts after thwarting an armed robber. The gripping incident took place at the store of David Bremond, where the security cameras caught every moment of the tense confrontation. Just as the robber, wielding a gun, threatened Bremond, hopes seemed to fade, until his loyal Belgian shepherd, Hobby, stepped in. 4-year-old Hobby, with fierce determination, charged at the intruder. The sudden attack startled the robber, who panicked and fled the scene. Hobby's bravery and quick response protected Bremond and showcased the strong bond between the two, built through years of training. This was no ordinary day for the duo, as Bremond had prepared Hobby for such moments through a year-long training program. However, it was the first time they faced a real threat, and Hobby passed the test with flying colors. Bremond, who had dealt with several robberies in the past, never expected his courageous companion would become a hero and an inspiration to many, showing the power of loyalty and protection in the face of danger. Great Dane at work. In Oklahoma City, where crime rates run high, vigilance is a must. One afternoon, security footage captures a man arriving at a downtown apartment and entering through the side door. He's met by Dubai, a massive 122-pound Great Dane mix. The only issue? This isn't his home. Unknown to the intruder, the actual residents, a mother and her blind son, are just around the corner, unaware of the looming threat. The man tries to befriend Dubai, petting the big dog to gain his trust. And for a while, it seems to work. But then, Mom hears a noise and comes face to face with the stranger. Her scream pierces the air, and Dubai instantly switches to defense mode. He bites the uninvited guest, first in the rear, and then goes for the head, fully intent on protecting his family. Terrified, the man bolts for the door as Dubai's growls echo behind him. The family secures the home and calls the police. Dubai, still on guard, continues barking, ready for another round. Thanks to swift action, the police apprehended 32-year-old Robert Ward, who was later convicted of second-degree burglary. Dubai? He's hailed as a true hero, protecting his loved ones against all odds. Burbull on guard. One evening, a burglar thought he found the perfect moment to sneak into a terrace house while the owner was away. Confidently, he peered out of the spare room window, unaware that danger was rapidly approaching. A Burbull, a large, powerful dog with a strong bone structure and impressive muscles, was silently closing in on him. Breaking into this house turned out to be a terrible mistake. The Burbull wasted no time and launched a fierce attack on the intruder. The man had no chance to escape and was completely overwhelmed by the dog's strength. Desperately, he threw punches, causing some injuries to the dog, but the Burbull refused to back down. When the owner returned home, she was met with a chaotic scene and quickly called the police and an ambulance. The dog's brave actions earned it admiration from a neighborhood, with many hailing the Burbull as a local hero for defending the home so fiercely. This dog, once just a loyal companion, became the pride of the community. Wrong move. After this thief broke into this house and gathered his loot, he probably thought he was in the clear. But just as he tried to sneak away, the homeowners spotted him and gave chase. The thief panicked, scrambling onto the roof to escape. The determined homeowner followed closely behind, not willing to let him get away so easily. In a desperate move, the thief jumped from the roof into the next compound, hoping to evade capture. But what awaited him was far worse than he expected. Two well-trained guard dogs were already there, ready for action. As soon as the thief landed, the dogs attacked. One clamped down on his leg, while the other went for his upper body, bringing him to the ground with force. After minutes of struggling, the thief tried to grab a nearby pipe to defend himself, but it was no use. The dogs were relentless, overpowering him. Meanwhile, the homeowner stayed on the roof, watching the chaos unfold below. He waited until the dog's owner and the police arrived to ensure the thief had no chance of escaping. The guard dogs had done their job. Not today. In a dramatic confrontation, an intruder daringly leaps over a fence, only to be met by two fierce guard dogs. Without hesitation, the dogs spring into action. One of the dogs, particularly fearless and relentless, immediately takes charge. Pursuing the intruder with unwavering determination, the intruder struggles desperately to fend off the relentless dog, but his efforts are futile. The second dog, equally fierce, clings onto the intruder's clothing, searching for an opportunity to intensify its assault. The intruder's primary concern is the unyielding dog, which poses the greatest threat. The battle between the intruder and the dogs escalates, with the scene eventually reaching the ground. In a determined effort, the fearless dog tugs at the intruder's pullover, leaving him in a desperate scramble for escape. However, the resilient dog forcefully pins him down, preventing any chance of fleeing. Despite the attempts of onlookers who throw buckets of water over the fence to disperse the dog, it remains undeterred, continuing its relentless assault. The whereabouts of the second dog become unclear, but there are no visible injuries to the dog or the intruder. The scene concludes with the man still firmly pinned to the ground, held at bay by the determined and unyielding dog. Take me to the hospital. In Teresina, Brazil, an experienced thief learned the hard way that not every heist goes as planned. Known for stealing from homes in his neighborhood, this particular night took a humiliating turn. Sneaking into a house while the residents slept, he thought it was business as usual until he felt a sharp pain on his arm. The culprit had been caught off guard by the family's loyal guard dog, who wasted no time defending its territory. In a bizarre twist, the robber, clearly in pain, called for help, shouting at the homeowners, "Your dog is biting me. Take me to the hospital." Startled by the intruder's brazen request, the homeowners quickly rushed to their kitchen to investigate. Instead of offering aid, they chased the thief out of the house. Their brave dog had done its job, delivering a well-deserved bite to the arm of the would-be burglar. Brave Dobermans. It was just another ordinary day for Grandpa as he returned home after cashing his paycheck. But that day quickly turned dangerous when a white sedan suddenly blocked his way. Two shady men emerged, brandishing a gun and demanding his hard-earned cash. Unknown to them, however, Grandpa's granddaughter was on high alert. She had been stationed at the gate with her two loyal Dobermans, ever vigilant guardians of their family's safety. Just as she was about to open the gate, she saw the robbers dragging her grandpa out of his SUV. Her heart raced, but she acted swiftly, trying to close the gate. She watched in relief as her fearless Dobermans sprang into action. With a powerful rush, they tackled the would-be thieves, their protective instincts fully engaged. The robbers were overwhelmed by the swift and determined response of these heroic dogs. The family could count their blessings that day, not only for the safety of Grandpa, but also for their courageous pups. It's a timeless reminder that dogs truly are a human's best friend, ready to stand guard and protect those they love. Little hero. Don't judge a book by its cover. This old saying vividly comes to life in a remarkable tale of an intruder and a guard dog. Picture a disheveled man, cloaked in worn, shabby clothing, creeping into the backyard of a seemingly unoccupied house. His eyes dart around with cautious anticipation, knowing full well that a dog might be lurking somewhere. As he cautiously approaches what appears to be an old dog cage, he scans the area, convinced that the coast is clear. Satisfied, he slips closer to the house, eager to make his way inside. With stealthy movements, he unlocks the door and steps into the house, believing his invasion to be successful. However, just as his foot crosses the threshold, a scene unfolds that turns his bravado into a frantic scramble. A small, unassuming dog, no larger than a loaf of bread, erupts from the shadows. This pint-sized protector, with a heart as fierce as a lion's, charges at the intruder with astonishing determination. The intruder, caught off guard by the unexpected ferocity of his tiny adversary, dashes back toward the backyard. In a comical twist of fate, he leaps over the fence with a speed and agility that matches his fear. The tiny dog, undeterred and resolute, continues its chase, a valiant defender in its own right. The sight of such a minuscule creature, sending an intruder fleeing, is both hilariously unexpected and endearing. This scene serves as a powerful reminder that courage and valor come in all sizes, and sometimes the most unlikely heroes are the ones who make the biggest impact. Never return. In the middle of the night, an intruder silently slips into a backyard, unaware that two vigilant German shepherds are on high alert. These noble guardians, trained to protect, immediately sense an intruder's presence and spring into action. Their growls and barks pierce the stillness of the night, startling the thief, who finds himself suddenly engulfed in fear. Desperate for help, the intruder cries out, hoping someone will come to his rescue. Meanwhile, the homeowner, awakened by the commotion, rushes outside to confront the chaotic scene. He swiftly gains control of the agitated dogs, who reluctantly return to their watchful positions. Despite the temporary reprieve from the dogs, the intruder is in a state of sheer panic, pleading for the homeowner to get the dogs away from him. In his frantic state, the intruder scrambles to escape, his cries of terror echoing as he rushes out of the yard. Although he manages to flee without physical harm, he is profoundly shaken by the intense experience. The homeowner, now calm and collected, tosses the thief's scattered belongings back at him with a stern warning, never return. The intruder, trembling and disoriented, hurries to his car, desperate to escape the haunting memory of his near miss with danger. Don't come close. Imagine a quiet evening in a South African neighborhood, suddenly interrupted by the high-stakes drama of a burglary in progress. Four intruders silently slip into a house, their every move captured on camera. But their plan starts to unravel when they encounter an unexpected obstacle, a determined team of dogs inside. The scene unfolds as the burglars try to break in, but their stealthy efforts are met with the piercing bark of a vigilant guard dog. The noise is more than just an annoyance, it's a beacon of alert. The homeowners, fully aware of the situation unfolding outside, have complete faith in their canine protectors. These aren't just any dogs, they're highly trained Rottweilers, part of a rapid response unit ready for such emergencies. As the dog's barking intensifies, the burglars' carefully crafted operation begins to crumble. The sound draws unwanted attention from neighboring homes, jeopardizing their plan and risking exposure. With the situation spiraling out of control and the intruders realizing their cover is blown, they make a hasty retreat. In the end, it's clear that sometimes the most reliable security system comes with a wagging tail and a fierce bark. Burglary foil. In the dead of night, a would-be intruder decided to scale a wall, hoping to sneak into an unsuspecting home. As he grabbed onto the clothesline for balance, his stealthy approach quickly turned into panic. From out of the shadows, two fierce dogs appeared, barking furiously and charging straight at him. One white dog lunged at his leg, sinking its teeth in, while the second dog joined the attack, pinning him down with relentless force. The intruder was no match for these determined guard dogs. He struggled to free himself, but their grip was unyielding. Every attempt to shake them off only seemed to fuel their aggression as they held him in place, protecting their territory with loyalty and ferocity. This intense scene shows the power of a well-trained guard dog team, reminding us just how effective canine companions can be when it comes to home security. The intruder certainly got more than he bargained for. A harsh lesson that breaking into someone's home isn't worth the risk. In the wrong house. On what would turn out to be the worst day of his life, an intruder sneaked into a property guarded by two formidable dogs. He managed to get past the initial security, but the real challenge awaited him inside. The moment the dogs spotted him, they charged with a ferocity that left no doubt about their training. Their powerful jaws clamped down on him, the intruder's cries for help echoing in vain. The homeowner, calm and unbothered, stood by with a camera, capturing every moment of this dramatic encounter. It was clear he wanted the intruder to remember this lesson. The dogs, proficient in their role, tore at his trousers and held him fast, their grip unyielding. In a desperate bid to escape, the intruder scrambled up a short fence. But the dogs were undeterred, their reach extending even to this makeshift barrier. Realizing his options were dwindling, he clambered up a nearby tree, hoping the height would provide safety. However, the dog's determination remained unshaken and they circled the base, waiting for his next move. His predicament now seemed like a waiting game. Would the dogs, steadfast in their duty, were not leaving their post? For the intruder, it was a matter of time before his ill-fated adventure came to an end, either through the homeowner's intervention or the arrival of law enforcement. Midnight intruders. On what seemed like a peaceful night, a quiet house lay shrouded in darkness. The kind of night where everything feels serene until the unexpected happened. As the moon cast its gentle glow, two figures wandered casually near the property. Their relaxed stroll gave no hint of the trouble they were brewing. A third person soon joined them, and then a fourth, each appearing to be just out for a late-night walk. But their suspicious glances and sporadic whispers started to paint a different picture. The group, now 4 strong, moved towards the side of the house with a newfound urgency. It became clear they had a purpose when 2 of them began scaling the wall. They perched at the top, debating their next move, while another member approached the main gate, and one more had already slipped inside the property. The tranquility of the night was about to be shattered. Just as the intruders made their move, a German shepherd patrolling the yard perked up, alerted by the commotion. The dog, keen and vigilant, quickly spotted one of the intruders and sprang into action. His bark, initially a cautious alert, soon escalated into a deafening roar. The intruder, startled and disoriented, fled from the scene. The barking, relentless and piercing, echoed through the night, waking up the entire neighborhood. The intruders on the wall, now trapped and panicked, were unable to make their escape while the loyal dog continued his fierce defense. Realizing their plan had been thwarted, the crew of 4 scrambled away, vanishing into the night as the German shepherd's unwavering vigilance ensured their mischief was put to a swift end. German shepherds on guard. Late one night in India, 2 men were caught in the act of trying to break into a house. They silently scaled the fences, hoping their stealthy approach would go unnoticed. But their plans were thwarted by an unexpected hero, the homeowner's German shepherds. With their keen instincts, the dogs immediately sensed the danger and started barking loudly. Their sharp, relentless barks cut through the stillness of the night, alerting the entire neighborhood to the intruder's presence. The would-be thieves, realizing their plans were in jeopardy, quickly abandoned their mission. They fled the scene before anyone inside the house could wake up or take further action. The German shepherd's vigilance and bravery had protected their home, demonstrating the vital role that well-trained guard dogs play in safeguarding their families. Their timely intervention not only prevented a potential break-in, but also showcased the remarkable bond between humans and their loyal canine companions. Now it's time for today's subscriber pick. In a quiet suburban neighborhood where the most excitement usually came from lawnmower races, something unusual was brewing. An extravagant estate, known for its opulent gardens and grand parties, had recently installed a state-of-the-art security system. But it wasn't the technology that captured everyone's attention. It was the 3 formidable guard dogs that patrolled the grounds. One crisp autumn night, under a shroud of fog, a trio of burglars decided the estate was ripe for the picking. They were seasoned thieves, notorious for slipping past the tightest security. Tonight, they were confident that nothing could stand in their way, not even the supposed ferocity of the estate's guard dogs. The thieves, clad in black and armed with lock-picking tools, crept across the lawn, their eyes set on the glittering treasures inside. They had barely made it past the first set of cameras when the dogs, 2 German shepherds and a Doberman, took notice. With their sharp noses and even sharper instincts, the dogs were ready for action. The shepherds were the first to spring into action. The Doberman followed close behind. They didn't bark. Instead, they moved with a silent precision, surrounding the intruders. The thieves froze as the dogs closed in. Fear quickly replaced their bravado. They attempted to flee, but the dogs were too quick. The scene was chaotic, growling, and the clinking of tools dropping to the ground. By the time the authorities arrived, the burglars were cornered and thoroughly owned by the guard dogs. The headline the next day read, "Thieves who got owned by guard dogs," much to the delight of the neighborhood. As the burglars were led away, one bystander asked what made them think they could outsmart a pack of elite guard dogs. Jewelry shop guard. In the heart of a bustling jewelry shop, a tense scene unfolded as a man with a sneaky air entered the store. His unease was palpable, and it became clear why when he spotted the large, imposing guard dog near the counter. The dog, with its keen eyes and muscular frame, was a formidable deterrent. As the man approached the counter, the dog, clearly trained for protection, attempted to jump over, but its efforts fell short. Its owner, guiding the dog with practiced precision, maneuvered the animal around the counter to confront the intruder directly. The man's fear escalated as the dog lunged at him with intense ferocity. Panic set in as the man recoiled, but the guard dog was relentless. It clamped down on the man's hand with a grip that spoke volumes of its training and determination. The owner, visibly distressed, rushed to regain control of the situation, but the dog's focus remained unwavering. The man's thick jacket provided a crucial layer of protection, sparing him from more severe injuries. The scene was a dramatic reminder of the guard dog's purpose, to safeguard and protect. Its fierce loyalty and skillful handling were on full display. Despite the chaotic encounter, the incident ended with the intruder subdued, showcasing the guard dog's dedication to its duty and the effectiveness of its training. Reckless intrusion. Only God knows what was going through the intruder's mind when he boldly attempted to breach a protected premises. His overconfidence, however, quickly turned into a stark lesson in reality. The moment he crossed the threshold, he found himself face to face with 2 massive boar bulls, renowned for their imposing presence and fierce loyalty. These dogs were not merely pets, but seasoned protectors, trained to handle such situations with precision. As the intruder approached, the boar bulls sprang into action with impressive speed and determination. The intruder, clearly experienced in encounters with dogs, dropped to the ground, lying face down to shield his vital organs. His attempt to mitigate the threat was a testament to his past run-ins with similar situations. Yet the boar bull's response was swift and assertive. Their barks echoed through the premises, a clear signal of their protective instincts. If it hadn't been for the rapid intervention of the security personnel, this intruder would have faced a far graver outcome. The team acted with efficiency, swiftly taking control of the situation and ensuring the intruder could no longer pose a threat. Caught between. In a gripping video that has captured the attention of viewers, we witness an intense confrontation between an intruder and 2 fierce guard dogs. Despite the man's attempts to evade the aggressive canines, he finds himself in an increasingly precarious situation. The footage, likely recorded by vigilant homeowners, reveals a dramatic standoff that unfolds with breathtaking intensity. The intruder, having tried to breach an apartment within the home, encounters the relentless guardians of the property. These determined dogs, undeterred by the man's height or stature, position themselves as formidable barriers. Trapped between the 2 fierce animals, the man is left with no clear path of escape. His dilemma is stark: descend and face the imminent attack from one dog, or cling desperately to the unyielding iron door behind him, a position that offers little comfort and even less safety. As the standoff escalates, it becomes clear that the intruder is completely surrounded. Every move he makes is closely scrutinized by the onlookers, who are likely the homeowners themselves. The tension in the video builds as the intruder's options narrow, and it's evident that a situation is becoming increasingly desperate. The relentless vigilance of the guard dogs and the strategic decision of the homeowners ensure that the intruder is apprehended, bringing a dramatic end to this heart-pounding encounter. Backyard thieves. In a thrilling turn of events, two men found themselves in a precarious situation when they ventured into a backyard, believing they had stumbled upon an easy opportunity. Their every move was being captured by a surveillance camera, which had recorded them spotting an invitingly open door. Unknown to them, their seemingly golden chance was about to turn into a nightmare. The men hadn't noticed the vigilant guard dog, who had already caught wind of the intruder's unfamiliar scent. With a keen sense of duty and an alertness that only a trained canine can possess, the dog sprang into action. An authoritative bark echoed through the air, sending an unambiguous message. Stay away. The sudden and intense presence of the dog threw the two men into a panic. Their confidence evaporated in an instant as they realized the gravity of their mistake. Without a second thought, they turned and fled, their footsteps echoing their urgent need to escape. Their decision to bolt was undoubtedly wise, as any delay could have turned their ill-fated foray into a much messier situation. Meanwhile, the homeowner's whereabouts remained unknown, but the men had no time to consider this. Their sole focus was on evading any potential confrontation with the determined dog or its owner. Which of these incredible stories of thieves getting outsmarted by guard dogs surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. A timely intervention. In a quiet corner of the neighborhood, two suspicious-looking men on a motorcycle approached a large, seemingly abandoned building. The gate was wide open and they saw it as an opportunity. Their plan was simple: take whatever they could grab. As they made their way inside, their movements were being silently captured on surveillance cameras. One of the men reached out for some clothing hanging on a line, unaware of the guardian patrolling the premises. Suddenly, a vigilant guard dog sprang into action. With a thunderous bark and a fierce charge, the dog charged at the intruders. Its sudden appearance and aggressive stance sent shivers down the thieves' spines. In a panic, they scrambled to escape, realizing their plan was falling apart. The motorcycle roared to life as the men made a hasty retreat, leaving in a cloud of dust. Despite their swift exit, one of the men managed to snatch a few items from the line before disappearing. But the real victory belonged to the courageous dog. Its timely intervention and protective instincts had successfully sent the thieves running. Thank you for joining us. Feel free to click on one of the cards on the screen to watch another video. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.